A scientific work revealed that Russia is behind attacks with directed energy weapons. But what is this? What does it produce, and who are the targets? Let's see. In a significant advance in investigations into the mysterious condition known as Havana Syndrome, Russia is identified as the possible perpetrator of attacks with directed energy weapons. These incidents have affected more than 100 U.S. national security personnel and their families, causing them brain injuries. Among the victims are White House staff, CIA officers, FBI agents, and military officers who reported symptoms consistent with high-energy microwave or ultrasound attacks. Greg Edgreen, a retired Army lieutenant colonel who led the investigation for the Defense Intelligence Agency, expressed his personal conviction that these acts are targeted attacks by Russia. The investigation revealed cases where the affected individuals, many of them U.S. intelligence workers and diplomats abroad, had to be removed from their positions due to traumatic brain injuries. The fact has raised concern about how these attacks are effectively neutralizing key U.S. national security personnel. A medical study led by Dr. David Relman of Stanford University for the U.S. government found clear evidence of an injury in the auditory and vestibular system of the brain, indicating that pulse-directed energy, also called radio frequency, appears to be the mechanism responsible for the ailments. The so-called Havana Syndrome continues to be reported among U.S. personnel serving the country, including FBI agents and security advisors. Among the most recent victims is an FBI agent specializing in counter-espionage. The woman experienced a severe attack while at her home in Florida in 2021. According to the agent, she was hit with a paralyzing force that caused intense and sharp pain in her right ear. This episode not only physically disoriented her, but also had long-term consequences on her health, manifesting in symptoms comparable to those of early Alzheimer's, affecting both her short-term and long-term memory and her ability to multitask. One of the most recent and worrying incidents occurred during the NATO summit in Lithuania last year, which focused largely on the Russian invasion of Ukraine. A high-level official from the Department of Defense there experienced symptoms and sought medical treatment. For the U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel, this shows that there are no barriers to what Moscow will do, who they will attack, and that if we do not confront this, the problem will get worse. One of the alleged perpetrators of such attacks is Albert Everyanov, a Russian agent assigned to 29.155, a squad specializing in assassinations and sabotage within the Moscow Military Intelligence Service. For the investigators, the Havana Syndrome shows all the characteristics of a Russian hybrid war operation. If it is determined that the Kremlin is really behind the attacks and that the U.S. had to remove so many capable U.S. spies and diplomats from active service without killing them, and without their main adversary even admitting that it has done so for over a decade, it could easily be considered one of Vladimir Putin's greatest strategic victories against the U.S.